This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cars are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's. Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Mike Prater, I feel like I'm going down memory lane watching that intro there. We've done shows from cars and Fiesta Bowl ballrooms and golf tournaments and Sunday afternoons after coaches are fired and hired, and been a fun ride with you, man, on Bronco Nation News, and always appreciate you on a Friday getting up a little earlier to do this with us, and been BNN's going strong, and it's in a large part because of you, my friend, so appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and feelings are mutual. Feelings are likewise. Not only, coaches getting fired on Sunday mornings, CFP invites on Sunday mornings. We've done Monday nights, Tuesday nights. I think wasn't the Fiesta Bowl a Tuesday night? So yeah, it's been a pretty cool ride. I was looking at the columns that I've been writing for BNN. I think I'm just about close to I'm like a 97th or 98th column. I'm about to hit column number 100. So that's a milestone, and I appreciate the opportunity from you, and I appreciate what you guys do and what we all do here on BNN, and it's only getting better every single day, and I appreciate your leadership, my friend.
You better not be saving the retirement column for number 100 or something. Come on.
No, not yet. That's a couple years down the road. You're not going to get rid of me that easily. That would be the most widely read column I write, because people would be happy. They'd read it and they'd move on from Prater and never bat an eye again.
Let's see. Luis says, good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, appreciate it. And I don't know why. I was just watching all the clips on there. I'm like, man, me and Prater, I used to hate Prater. Now he's not bad.
It wasn't so much a hate thing. It was a competitive rivalry. It was kind of like Vandals and Broncos. And I know we're going to talk Vandals and Broncos, and even Vandals and Broncos learned to get along at one point. And it's been a really cool relationship and a business relationship. And as the old man in the media scrum who's been here since 1990, and very protective and very proud of this industry, it's really cool that Bronco Nation News, as we've transitioned into this weird era of sports media coverage, at least is burning the candle on 24-hour 365, and you guys are still doing it. We're still doing it. The newspapers aren't what they used to be, and nobody watches TV anymore. So BNN, here we are. I love it.
Well, it's crazy. When I was doing my monthly payroll the other day, 11 people now that I, in some capacity, whether it's show hosts or interns or social media graphics or columnists or whatever, we shelled out money to 11 people this past month. So hopefully I can keep building it and keep it going. And weekends like this weekend make it a little easier to fill 45 minutes on the show, Mike Prater, when there's a lot going on. And as Brady says, good morning, guys. It's basketball time. And yes, as our old friend used to say, it's basketball time in Boise tonight for the first time in 2025. As it's an exhibition game, I know, and we will talk plenty of football on the show. Don't worry. But with the game being tonight, we'll kick it off with a few minutes of Mike Prater basketball talk. I know his favorite thing in the world to do. It's an exhibition game. I get it, but usually they don't do this. Usually you have to wait 3 more weeks to see this team play a game. So I think it's cool under the lights with the referees and everything else to get a chance to see this team. And I'm not going to hype this team up as the best team in program history, whatever, but a team that should be good and should be decent and should have a chance, like all these teams have the last several years, to compete near the top of the conference and compete near, on the bubble of the NCAA tournament and try to be on the right side this year. So I'm for one excited to kind of see what this team looks like tonight.
I'm 100% excited, and I'm not sure I'm excited to see the team, but anytime the Broncos and the Vandals get together, I'm all for that. I miss this. I woke up this morning and told the family, guys, it's Vandal Bronco Day, and we don't get to say that. It's been 11 years since we were able to say that around here, and even longer for football. So, technically it is an exhibition game, but when Broncos and Vandals get together in football or basketball, it's anything but. There's not going to be any animosity tonight. It's going to be 2 teams trying to figure out rotations and depth charts and all that kind of stuff. And it was cool to catch up with Leon Rice. I think that's the earliest we've ever had Leon Rice on our show earlier this week. And, it was kind of a rude awakening for both of us. I heard Leon on the other end and thought, oh, are we really going there all of a sudden? And then Leon comes on the show and said, Prater's been trying to get me fired for 14 years around here. So it was kind of funny, and it was good that Prater and Leon Rice are kind of engaged in midseason form, and we got after it a little bit and had a lot of fun. But I think it's really cool. I'm excited. We're doing our radio show this afternoon in Star. Prater will be sprinting from Star to downtown Boise to make it in terms of tip-off. I can't wait for this game tonight.
Can we get the local authorities to help with a police escort or something for Mike Prater and Johnny Ball game? They're going to be at the Ridley's Family Markets out in Star. Go out to Ridley's today. Hang out with the crew out in Star. They do a really cool job with their tailgate parties on Fridays. But then we got to get them by tip-off down to the downtown arena. So if anybody knows any local authorities that are willing to help out, let's get Johnny and Prater down to downtown by 6 o'clock.
I love that. I love that. Oh, and by the way, I bought a couple of tickets for my family last night. And while I was on there, I noticed that they dropped the ticket prices. There's some cheaper ticket prices right now. There's plenty of seats still available. I understand the reservations in terms of just selling out this game. But we don't want to get to the point in this town. And I know you're a hockey guy. I'm a hockey guy. But you know what? When they bring in the NHL for a preseason exhibition game a couple of weeks ago with tickets that are a lot more expensive than this basketball game, they sold that sucker out. We don't want this town to be known as a hockey town over a Bronco Vandal town. Maybe that's another shot at the fans who've taken a lot of beating this week. But and I get it. It's expensive, and there's a lot of different issues going on here. But just that's a tip. Go to Ticketmaster.com, find this game. And tickets have dropped all the way down, guys, to $15. pick them up and make it happen. It's going to be a pretty cool event tonight. Anytime you can walk into a building and you see Broncos and Vandals and the gear and the colors, that's a pretty cool moment for the city of Boise.
Yeah, I'm checking right now on Ticketmaster, and you're right, Mike Prater, $15.50 now gets you into the building. So the original cheapest ticket was $43, and now they've smartly lowered it to $15. So if you want to go tonight, $15. I know it's been a tough week on fans, Mike. We are going to talk about your column and stuff here in a little bit, but this was, speaking of buying these tickets and wanting to see this game, here's Leon Rice calling out the fans a little bit yesterday.
And, you know, it's a test run. Like, if fans aren't interested in it, why do it again? So I hope people come out and watch, because, you know, you're gonna show me at the polls. I mean, don't just say you want this, you want this, you want this, and then we go and do it, and people don't come to it. So get these tickets. There's some tickets still out. They're I think $15 each. That's come downtown on a Friday night before a football game. It's gonna be a fun outing. So sell this thing out, then we'll think about doing it some more.
I got one more.
Your thoughts there, Mike?
Oh, I had not heard that before, and that is kind of piling on. But I think he's 100% right. I'm shocked, and I'll go back to the hockey thing. I feel kind of warm and fuzzies in my heart that people in this town are embracing hockey, but embracing hockey over Vandals and Broncos. So again, I know it's an exhibition game, but again, Boise State and Idaho, when they play, it's not really an exhibition game. It's more about this rivalry in the state of Idaho. And I know hardcore Boise State fans don't want to go downtown. They don't want to deal with season tickets. They don't want to deal with parking, all that kind of stuff. The ticket prices early on, I thought, were a little expensive. $43 for the cheap ones up in the upper bowl for an exhibition basketball game in the middle of October, I thought was a little bit misguided in the beginning. But as you learned yesterday, and as we've learned the details of this game, there's an NIL component. These things aren't cheap. You got to pay for the Vandals to come down. They've been here since, I think, they got here Wednesday night. They had a nice deal at the arena yesterday. They've had some meet and greets with their fans. This is kind of a bigger deal that has a lot more involved in terms of just a 90-minute, 2-hour basketball game. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's not going to sell out tonight, but I think there's going to be a great energy, a great buzz. The concourse will be busy. There'll be a few scattered seats in the top, but I think there'll be a nice little rush on tickets today, and I think we'll have some fun tonight.
Yeah, I was joking with Leon Rice. I mean, you know how this is, Mike Prater. Maybe folks don't, but typically media is either courtside or somewhere in the lower level for these basketball games at the Idaho Central Arena. They stick the media way up at the top, and we're actually right next to the bar. And we're up and so I mentioned to Leon Rice, a Friday night, University of Idaho, like can we throw Leon's tab down up there during the game for the media? Let's have some fun on a Friday night. And he said, hey, that may be something we have to think about. So I think, Mike, if you're interested in maybe putting a drink or two and say it's on Coach Rice's tab, you might get away with it tomorrow night.
That would be the Prater's greatest revenge. Run up a double-digit bar tab on Leon Rice. Somebody get me his credit card fast. Let's make that happen. Come on.
Now, they are doing slightly different rules tonight, Mike. I mean, the whole point of an exhibition game is to see different rotations, see different guys. Obviously winning is going to be a goal, but for, you don't play a real game that counts for 3 weeks. So you're not going to play 35 minutes out of your starters. You want to get different guys in there. So they will coach this a little differently than a normal game. One thing that they're not going to have is you will not have players fouling out tonight. They're not going to have the 5 fouls fouling you out. They want players to play the minutes they were going to play. Now, with that said, Coach Rice said, I'm not going to tell our guys that because I don't want them slapping or, he joked that he doesn't want them knowing that. But you're not going to see any guys fouling out or see, Pearson Carmichael picking up 2 fouls in the first minute and going to the bench or whatever. So you are going to see that. And then the other fun thing they're doing is they're going to play what they're calling the fifth quarter. Essentially, they're going to have an extra 10-minute game at the end of the 40-minute game that won't count for the score. The game will be over after 40 minutes, but they hope folks stick around, and they're going to play an extra 10-minute period where a lot of the guys that didn't get to play as much in the game and maybe are lower on the depth chart get a chance to get out there and get some experience as well. They did this on the Canadian trip. Coach Rice actually came over when we were streaming it on BNN and did some commentary, so he joked that maybe he'll jump on with Bob and do some color. Take Abe's job, I guess, for a little bit maybe. But you'll have the official 40-minute game. Everything else, I believe, is normal. No foul outs. And then they will have an extra kind of 10-minute thing at the end, running clock, I believe, just to give a little bit of extra playing time to some of the bench players.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, especially Is the fifth quarter in basketball like the 19th hole in golf? And does that require Leon Rice's credit card up in the bar again? Maybe that's just an extra way to throw in a couple of vodkas on Leon's tab. But
You
yeah,
said that might actually be the time that he would come up and join us by the bar.
There you go. There you go. He can come up and just talk about his team while we're sitting there watching that 10 minutes. And it's fine. It's a little gimmicky, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. And, this thing's going to go fast. If this thing starts at 9 or 7 o'clock, and I would imagine they'll wrap up the other one, the main 40-minute game by 9 and throw on an extra 10 minutes. And everybody's done by 9:30 on a Friday night in downtown Boise. So I think it's a pretty cool, I'm celebrating a really cool weekend. You got Vandals, Broncos, Rebels, basketball, football. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm meeting up some family and friends downtown afterwards tonight. I think it could be pretty festive, and then turn around for a 1:30 Saturday afternoon football game. Are you kidding me? It's supposed to be a spectacular day tomorrow. BJ, this is the next 36 hours are going to be fantastic, and I literally cannot wait for tonight's basketball game.
What I think I just heard was, if you're on the fence about coming to this game tonight, you might see Mike Prater out and about downtown after the game. If that's not reason to try to come on down and hope you run into Mike Prater at a local watering hole after the game, I don't know what would be better reason to want to come down.
Especially after getting liquored up on Leon Rice's credit card, so that's the whole win-win right there for everybody. And maybe I could invite a whole bunch of people down to the arena and let's have a party on Leon Rice's credit card.
Yeah, the biggest 95.3 media contingent of all time. No, looking forward to it tonight. And Mike, let's just, before we move on to football, just give me one big picture take on this program, this team. I know Leon joked in your interview when he said he's been trying to get you fired for 14 years. He said, it's a long season. Give it a few weeks. I'm sure you'll have something to, rip on me for. He was joking, having fun, whatever. But you look at this team and losing Tyson Degenhart, losing Stanley, losing Cardenas, but bringing in the two transfers. I know one of them's been, I shouldn't say much. You may not see the full roster tonight. I'll just say that, I guess. There's some small minor stuff going on, nothing big in terms of a real game. But if anyone's at all banged up, you're not going to push them to play in this game. I'll just say that. But you've got Drew Fielder, you've got Dylan Andrews, the two big, profile transfers, another year out of Meadow and Carmichael and Bowie and Keene and some of these guys. And what missed the tournament last year, trying to get back to 4 and 5. Obviously, as everybody on this show knows, the ultimate goal, trying to break that streak. And it's going to happen at some point, Mike Prater. I mean, at some point, they're not going to forever. I mean, who knows, maybe. But you would assume at some point they're going to finally get a win. What are your thoughts on this maybe being the year? I mean, what's your take? I know you haven't studied practice and all that kind of stuff. Maybe next Friday will be a better question to ask you. But just what's your kind of big picture take on this program going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA thing, I get a little tired of talking about that, and it's kind of the albatross that hangs over this program's head. So no need for Prater to strike the mood and dive into that right now. Once again, I'll say this, and I honestly believe this, and I think it's happened for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and probably longer, but I thought that there was a time there where Leon Rice and his staff were not winning the offseason. And I think that they won this offseason in terms of the two you brought in terms of Dylan and Drew Fielder. And I'm really there's 3 people I want to watch. I want to watch Pearson Carmichael. Mostly I want to watch his shot and see how much he's cranking that sucker up and how smooth that looks, because I think that shot and what Pearson brings to this basketball team is really, really intriguing and really, really exciting. And then the 2 new guys. Dylan Andrew, the transfer from UCLA, is he really the defensive stopgap machine that everybody says he is? And Drew Fielder, a Big East big man, and had a chance to meet his father over the summer. And I know that the family's really excited, and it's that local connection. And Drew Fielder is coming in with a lot of excitement and anticipation for this basketball season. So there's 3 people that I want to keep a close eye on tonight and just kind of watch those guys and see how everybody else does. But after that, just kind of enjoy the game, watch the flow, see how Boise State's depth is. Can they go 9, 10, 11 deep? Do I dare go 10, 11 deep on this basketball team? We'll see them all tonight. What that rotation looks like in a month, we'll figure that out then.
And obviously winning and losing is not the ultimate goal tonight, but certainly Boise State, wouldn't be a good look to lose to Idaho. But for comparison's sake, I love those Ken Palm numbers, Mike Prater. Essentially, Idaho going into the season is valued about the same as like an Air Force. So it's a very low Mountain West team. So, I mean, theoretically, they're actually ranked higher than Air Force, but I mean, theoretically, it's the worst Mountain West team. They're slightly better than them, but they're a bottom last place type Mountain West team. So it just to they're picked, I think, 3rd or 4th in the Big Sky this year. I mean, they could have a decent year for their sake, but in terms of, if you're playing this to win, this would be a, 20+ point spread probably. But with that said, like I said, I do think you're going to see the minutes more evenly distributed. I don't think the final score of this game, unless they lose, should really, it's more how they play, how do they look. I wouldn't put too much just into the margin because, like I said, you're probably not going to see, honestly, anybody play more than 30 minutes. A lot of guys in the 20-25 try some different lineups, tinker some things out. And then they do have next Saturday, Mike, I believe it is, a private scrimmage against Washington Huskies up in Seattle. So they will go up to Seattle next week and do one of those private scrimmages and then get ready to start the season next week. So should be fun. Looking forward to it tonight. And like I said, if you're a fan or even media, they typically do the 2 private scrimmages. And the first time you see them play a game is a real game that counts, in early November. So get a little early look tonight and should be fun. I did want to pass along some sad news, Mike, that I put on social media last night, but Julian Bowie, his father passed away. Very unfortunate and sad. Bo Bowie. And to be completely honest, that's why a lot of those players were down in Salt Lake when the whole Utah fiasco happened, was to visit Julian's dad at the hospital down there. And they had kept that kind of quiet and all that. But very tough news to hear about Julian Bowie's father passing away. There is going to be a moment of silence, I believe, before the game tonight. It just happened earlier this week, and Julian wanted to be with his team and wanted to play tonight. But it's pretty fresh in terms of happening in the last couple of days. And there is a GoFundMe account that's been set up. I tweeted out the link last night. They've got to help pay with funeral costs and some other related costs. So if you're able to help spare a few dollars, and I thought it was pretty cool. I saw Andrew Meadow in the thing, that shows the donations. Andrew Meadow donated $500, and I saw Pearson Carmichael donated $300. So you're seeing NIL and these players having some money, maybe going to not just going to snacks at Jackson's or whatever. I mean, it's unfortunate, sad news, but cool to see some of his teammates step up. And if you're able to step up in the community as well and help out, I did tweet out the link last night. I'll tweet it out again. But again, Julian Bowie's father, Mike, passing away earlier this week.
Yeah, saw that. And when we had a chance to talk to Leon the other day, he shared that news, and he politely asked us before the interview not to bring up anything like that. And and then I saw your news that kind of made it public yesterday after your media session with Leon, and that is unfortunate. He was really, really young, and I know it kind of happened pretty quick there, but that's unfortunate. I kept thinking, because I'm always the happy, positive guy. The same thing really happened with Dylan Riley on the football team, and his father, who was very well connected to the program, very well connected to his son, a big part of his life, and a very young individual, also passed away in the offseason. And you look how that has inspired Dylan Riley. I mean, Dylan Riley is the best running back on this football team right now. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's just because his father died and he's got this extra juice of motivation. He's a hell of a football player who deserves everything he can. But kind of the same thing for Julian Bowie. When you get that extra motivation and start thinking about those positive memories and use that to inspire your feelings about dad and what he would want you to do on the basketball court, maybe this sparks Julian Bowie to play. Have a Dylan Riley type of season. So condolences to the family. That's always sad. And I've lost my father, and I was fortunate enough to lose my father at a decent age. I can't imagine losing your father at a young age like that.
Yeah, and I tried to post it there. It looked like it was too long for one tweet, but I just reposted my tweet on it. So if you click on the Facebook link in the chat there, or the YouTube link, that takes you to my Twitter account, which then takes you to a link to the GoFundMe account. So if you are able to help with that, know the family would really appreciate it. Just tough news there, and certainly going to be watching Julian play tonight. Maybe just obviously hoping things are okay for him and the rest of his family, and they can get through this time. I haven't had to. I'm dreading that day, in terms of both my parents are still healthy and doing well, and I talk to my dad almost every day. So those of you that aren't that lucky know what he's going through, unfortunately, and hopefully he can get through this okay. But game tonight, 7:00. Again, tickets as low as $15. Make sure you get on there and check that out, and we'd love to see a packed house tonight at Idaho Central Arena downtown. I may have to ask you after the show. I don't want to give it away on the air, but I need to know the best spot to park. You go down to this arena a lot, Mike Prater. I need to know the way to there's no media parking tonight. So whatever you any tips on where to find a spot, but don't let it out here now so everyone steals my spot. But
no, I got a couple of downtown parking spots. I'll be
well, you have the, I mean, like I said, you're a made man down there, whatever. They have the reserved Mike Prater spot or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, I got to walk about a couple blocks and park underneath a tree and yeah, there's some tricks down there. I'll be more than happy to share as I fly in from Ridley's and Star and try to get there by tip off. We'll figure it out. There's some tricks to parking downtown for sure.
All right. Again, should be fun tonight. Basketball, 7 o'clock against the University of Idaho. Let's switch gears, talk some football. We got some voicemails in the hopper as part of that Shields giveaway. Want to get Mike's take on the game tomorrow afternoon, but want to thank rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and Company at rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. Speaking of Idaho Central Arena, ICCU.com is where you can go. Prater is an ICCU member. Jay Tust, an ICCU member. I'm an ICCU member. Make the switch today. You see what they're doing now for Boise State with the NIL deals and things. And yes, there is an NIL component to this, Mike Prater. So buying more tickets tonight certainly helps on the NIL side of tonight's game. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. We had a fun show yesterday. Johnny and I were out in the parking lot in 39-degree weather hosting our show yesterday. That was fun. TacoBellWorks.com. The SON Management Group. Love Taco Bell. Had a great breakfast after the show yesterday. If you're looking for breakfast, lunch, dinner, that fourth meal, they got you covered. Great food, great slushies, drinks, great prices, all different kinds of options. TacoBellWorks.com. Visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, $12.99 for those trading cards. Jackson's. We love Jackson's, appreciate them, and they're doing the trading cards. They've got the 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night. They take care of our NIL athletes on the NIL deals on the Riley and Rid show. We had Amarion McCoy, Jeremiah Irby live with Riley and Rid on Tuesday night. Great show. Appreciate Jackson's for their support. You can go back and watch that show online on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. But get out to Jackson's for your gas, for your snacks, and they're supporting Boise State football. You can return the favor at a local Treasure Valley Jackson's location. Hey, the Blue and Orange store, they got those new shirts. They're wearing blue uniforms, but fans are supposed to wear black. Mike Prater still figuring that one out, but you can get the new shirts, the Hell for Them, Home for Us shirts that Travis Hawks and company already have going. If you need a new black shirt for the game tomorrow, they've got that available at the Blue and Orange store down at the Hall of Fame. They've got it at the location out there at the Boise Town Square Mall, and you can order anywhere in the world online at theblueandorangestore.com. But yes, it is still a blackout tomorrow in the stands. Wear black, and if you need any kind of new black Boise State gear, you can get that at the Blue and Orange store. And Lithia Ford of Boise, their fall kickoff sale is underway. Never a better time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle at Lithia Ford of Boise. We appreciate Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake and company. Lithia Ford of Boise, appreciate them. We bought our F-150 from them, and at some point here when my wife's minivan dies, we'll be heading back in for another vehicle from Lithia Ford. But check them out online, view their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. All right, Mike Prater, monster game tomorrow, 1:30. Dan Mullins trying to, be all complimentary at Boise State, making jokes about the blue turf and birds dying and trying to, I don't know if he's trying to win over Boise State fans or what, but very complimentary in his press conferences about Boise State. And he told the story, which he actually told on Mountain West Media Days on our show, that he said the only time he's even ever been to Idaho, he was trying to check off all 50 states, is they went to Yellowstone on like a family trip or something, and they drove the back way out and kind of drove through the corner of Idaho on their way back down to Utah. And he got out, and he doesn't remember if it was lunch or gas. But one was in Montana, one was in Idaho. But he did say that that's the only time he's ever stepped foot in the state of Idaho. So I know 33,000 fans will be ready to welcome Dan Mullen and company tomorrow. I would assume the crowd's going to be loud and stay the whole game, and it's going to be a fun atmosphere and a big game, obviously, tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
I loved what Dan Mullen said, and he's smart. He's savvy. He understands all the tools and the tricks of this profession, and certainly going through the SEC wars, he's pretty tough-skinned and pretty thick about that stuff. I loved what he said. If Boise State wants the conscience of killing birds on their mind, and he said it with a smirk. He was kind of joking, and I love the Yellowstone story. All that stuff was really, really fun. I like Dan Mullen, but I've liked Dan Mullen for a long time for a lot of different reasons. He's got a little squirrely there, but and I really respect what he's done with this football team. It's really, really smart. We all know the story of 80 new transfers, only 2 returning starters. Think about that. 2 returning starters, and they're 6-0. That's an amazing offseason job, and that's an amazing in-season job. I don't care what the details are. Now, I still don't think this is that great of a football team. It's a good football team, and and I can't wait to see what happens on the game tomorrow. Boise State should win this. There's a reason why they're a 12, 13-point favorite. Certainly the fans will be a big story tomorrow as well as we watch that with the weather and what we think is going to be a close competitive game and the kickoff time. I suspect we're going to have a complete full sellout, and it's officially been called the sellout, but everybody in the seats, and I think everybody will be in the seats until the bitter end. So I think that's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be a great day, and it should be done by by 5 o'clock, and that's the heat of the day, and it's going to be 65 and sunny. It's going to be a spectacular day, and Dan Mullen's going to go home with a loss on his hands.
Yeah, we'll be live at 11 a.m. at the James for the pregame show. We'll be live on the patio with the postgame show around 5 o'clock. So when the game ends, if you want to get a postgame, 5:30 maybe, you want to get a postgame beverage or dinner, the James will be a perfect spot to come hang out after the game and let traffic die down, whatever. Or if you're going to make that the beginning of your night out on a Saturday night downtown, that could be fun as well. But, Mike, we're giving away a $500 gift card to Shields, courtesy of our friends at Signature Roofing. We did it last week. We're doing it again this week. Anybody that left us a voicemail or leaves us a voicemail all this week or through the postgame show tomorrow, you'll be registered, and we'll give it away on Monday's show. We kind of spin the wheel and just pick a name of somebody that put a voicemail in. So if you go to the effort of putting in a voicemail and giving us some sort of question or thought on Boise State, we will throw you in there and obviously give you a chance to win. And nothing like a $500 gift card, Mike, to get folks to take the 30 seconds to put a voicemail in here. And so I know you guys are riskier than me. You take the live calls on your post-game show, and sometimes that goes one way or the other. I have to screen them a little bit on the voicemails here because I'm not quite as trustworthy, I guess, or as risky as you guys, even though we actually have less rules than you guys do. But if you're cool with that, Mike, let's play a couple of these and get your reaction.
Let's do it.
All right, Cody L., you're first up. Cody L., what do you got for us? Oh, this was one that was hard to hear. I'll play it at the end if we can get to it. Let's go to Kyle.
Hey, BJ. What I'd like to see this week is all phases of the game coming together. We've seen flashes of good offense, good defense, and good special teams, but we've yet to see a game where all of it comes together with limited, undisciplined play. I think if they can put together a complete game without all of the dumb penalties and the procedural issues, UNLV, San Diego State, they should all be easy wins. But if they can't put together a complete game, then we may be in for a couple of tight scores.
Mike, your thoughts on Kyle saying haven't had a complete game yet, and certainly tomorrow would be a nice time for it.
Yeah, certainly haven't had a complete game at this level. App State, Eastern Washington, and yeah, there were some issues along there, and penalties are always an issue with this football team. But yeah, complementary football seems like all the rage. Every time I watch the NFL or college, coaches are talking about complementary football, and the offense and the defense, special teams certainly have not been on the same page. It's going to take that kind of a complementary effort to beat UNLV tomorrow, but I'm looking for a clean game across the board. That caller, I couldn't agree more.
All right, thank you for the call, Kyle. Let's go to Scott T. What do you got for us, Scott T?
Hey, BJ, it's Scott. I just have a quick question in regards to scheduling. I will be honest and haven't read Mike Prater's article from his meeting with JD, but I know we schedule a lot of these bigger games with Oregon, Notre Dame, things like that for the payout as far as helping with our budget. But was wondering if there's been any discussion or questions in regards to more games against some of the middle tier Power 5. I know like Tulane this year played Duke and Northwestern and teams like that. Just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on the possibility of playing more teams like that. I know, again, the money comes from the big schools, but just curious. I know we've played Washington State, Oregon State, but just curious if those types of matchups become more of a thing with the move to the Pac-12, or if it's just a money-driven thing that there isn't quite the money to play those teams. So thanks again. Great show. Love listening and watching. Excited to hear your thoughts on that.
Thanks, Scott. And Mike, I think translation is more winnable Power 5 games, but what do you make?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they have scheduled that. And when they play these Power 5 games, when you schedule like an Oregon or Notre Dame, you're not really doing it for money to help the budget. I mean, a little bit of money certainly does help. They got, what $1 million from Notre Dame or whatever it was?
1.35, I believe.
Yeah, 1.35. So that's important. That's important. But I think you play these games for other intangible type reasons. And I think Boise State's kind of accomplished what he's looking for there. They don't have, Oregon next year, that's the season opener, and they don't have a Power 4 opponent. And I don't think Jeremiah, when I went to his scheduling school, he doesn't talk about Power 4 opponents as winnable or not winnable. He doesn't talk about the Northwesterns versus the Notre Dames. For him, a Power 4 is a Power 4. There is no Power 4 on Boise State's schedule in 2027. And they have one, maybe two openings in 2027. I look for some kind of a one-off, a Power 4 one-off in 2027. After that, they have Cincinnati in 28 and 29. They have Houston in 30 and 31. Those are Power 4 opponents, whether we think they are or not. They are Power 4 opponents.
They weren't when they were scheduled, right? But they are now.
Correct. As they make that transition. And they certainly don't come with a lot of money. But there is going to be a series of 4 winnable Power 4 games. Both of those are home and home. Cincinnati and Houston are both home and home. So I don't think there's a significant amount of money to be made there. It's not like a Notre Dame one-off payoff, but I expect there to be a one-off Power 4 payoff game in 2027. After that, I think Boise State's kind of done with the Power 4 game for a few years.
Thanks, Scott T. And that one-off you were saying was small percentage. That was what he was trying to do the international game, right?
That's where he's penciled the international game if he can pull it off. And he's talked about that. And he said he's already had very preliminary conversations with these third-party promoters that do this. So in 2027, he has expressed interest in an international game. It would be a Power 4 opponent if they did it. And I think there's let's say a 25% chance that Jeremiah Dickey could pull it off. And, I think Boise State would have some mixed feelings about that. If you're going to play a Power 4 opponent, why not do it here in America? Why not try to get them on the blue? But I think the international experience would be fantastic. And I really hope that JD can pull that off.
And the money would be the big deal if they get a payoff for that. But they just announced that the Kansas-Arizona State game just got announced last week for next season. So you can put it together pretty quickly. Now, those two teams were already scheduled to play each other. You do have to find another team that needs a game. So that can make it maybe a little more urgency to get it done. But you only need a year's time, I guess, as they just showed to get that done. But Thank you for the call, Scott T. Let's keep it rolling with Tyson. Tyson, what do you got for us?
Hey, BJ. Tyson from Lewiston here again. Man, I'm getting tired of this whole Boise State spoiled fans narrative. It's super irritating. Just because we have high expectations for the program doesn't mean we're spoiled. Most of us have high expectations for ourselves, high expectations for our kids, high expectations for everything. That doesn't make people spoiled. Everybody supports the program. The fans support the program. Just because you're critical in times when people aren't meeting those expectations doesn't mean they're spoiled. Getting tired of the spoiled fans narrative. Go Broncos.
Your thoughts, Mike?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, there's certainly a nice chunk of Boise State fans who are spoiled, but I think you could say that about a lot of programs that had a lot of success. That's the byproduct of having a successful program and high expectations and high standards. But it's one thing to have those expectations, but it's one thing to support it either with your money, your time, or whatever it is. And the fact that those stands were so empty last week under those circumstances, I know everybody's going to come back. It was late and it was the weather, had nothing to do with football, but I don't completely agree with that. So it's a fine line. Yeah, Boise State fans can be, there's a pocket of Boise State fans who are somewhat delusional and somewhat spoiled. That comes with success over a 30, 40, 50-year window. And that's a good problem to have. And it's not just germane to Boise State. Nobody's beating up Boise State. They're beating up the other school, the Alabamas and the Georgias and whatever else you want to throw out there as well. If you've had success, you're going to have spoiled fan base because the expectations are to succeed, but it's a two-way street. I loved what Jeremiah Dickey said on our show the other day. He said, this is a relationship. And relationships have to be 50-50. And I have to put in a whole bunch of stuff, and you have to put in a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm the last guy that should be talking about successful relationships, but I know what it looks like, and I know it's a two-way street. And I don't think people at Boise State thought last Saturday night was a two-way street, and that's kind of where all the Yanks started.
I would say I think there's a decent chance, Mike Prater, that Boise State wins out the regular season. I just think they're better than all these teams in the Mountain West. I think tomorrow's a blowout or could be. The San Diego State game, sure, they're playing better, but I just think Boise State's they lost to Notre Dame and they kind of laid an egg in South Florida, but I still think they're better than all the teams in the Mountain West. So I see it fairly likely that they're going to win out, in my opinion, win the Mountain West championship game, be 11-2, three-peat, and then go a week later, which I love the fact that the LA Bowl, I don't know if you looked at the schedule, but it's the very next Saturday after the selection Sunday. So you just get in the transfer portal era and all this, you just get your one game week and you are done on December 14th. And I don't know who they're going to play, but I mean, my point is, Mike, there's a real chance, like a real chance is not some whatever. They could still go 12-2 this season. And yes, they have issues. I get it. They could stub their toe again. They're not the perfect team. I totally get it. I just think that the penalties and some of the stuff that's held them back can be corrected. And I just think they're better than all these teams in the Mountain West. So I think there's a decent chance they go 11-2, win a three-peat, and then see what happens in that bowl game. But I wonder what percentage of fans that would be a good enough season for. I mean, you come in talking about the playoff and doing it last year and all those big goals. Somebody said, we're I forget, you might have even been on last week. Somebody said something to the effect of, well, we're not, since when have our goals only been to do good in the Mountain West or whatever, and I wonder what percentage of fans missing the playoff makes this a failure of a season, no matter what else happens. But a 12-win season doesn't happen very often, and would certainly three-peat on the way out the door. I think would certainly be a successful season when only one group of five team gets in the playoff, and it's just really hard to do that every year. But for some fans, they think Boise State should be that group of five team every year, no matter what. And if you don't get there, it is a failure of a season. But I would think by and large, fans would still think this was a successful season if that scenario played out.
Yeah, but they'll still bitch and moan about Maddox Madsen. But yeah, that's the scenario that I see. And I'm with you. I think Boise State should win out. There might be one slip up along the way. That same, like you said, San Diego State, or even that Utah State game on Black Friday. If there's a lot at stake, you never know what may or may not happen. We'll see how that plays out. But I think Boise State's going to finish with 9-10 wins, and they're going to be good. They'll bitch about Maddox the entire way because Maddox has a ceiling, and it's never going to be enough to satisfy the hardcore fans. I think, to answer your question, I think a majority of Boise State fans would appreciate that. And I still think 5,000 fans would show up in LA at SoFi Stadium to watch them play whatever Pac-12 team, legacy team that gets assigned to that game. And I think it would be an experience, and I think it would be fun, and I think it would be pretty cool. And again, if you're bitching about a 10-win season, then you are spoiled. If you expect Boise State to get to the CFP every year and you're disappointed when they don't, you are spoiled, because that's not the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is fans have to spend time, fans have to spend money, and fans have to take the reality of a college football season into play and put all that together. And sometimes that's hard. So I know we've beaten up the fans a lot this week, but I think for the most part, Boise State fans get it. A majority of them do. There's a loud minority that gets really negative and really weird. And again, that's not germane just to Boise State staff. That's fan bases all across this country. So I think tomorrow is going to soothe a lot of wounds and soothe a lot of angst from this week in terms of just the feel-good, positive vibrations of what's going to happen at Albertson Stadium tomorrow. So let's hope it all comes together. I can't wait to see it.
And you wrote a tremendous column, BroncoNationNews.com. Folks can go read that right now, BroncoNationNews.com. Mike Prater on tough times of late for fans and how a blowout win and Maddox Madsen playing well could kind of at least temporarily kind of get everybody back in a good mood and smooth some things over. And one of the comments on here I think goes along with your column here, Mike. Devo Bronx says, it doesn't look or feel like Bronco football, even at home. That's what I'm wanting to see.
And I get that. I totally get that. And right now it doesn't, especially if you compare it to last year and the mistakes and the lazy efforts. I mean, we talked about the lack of effort in the USF game, and we kind of thought that Boise State had got that figured up. And all of a sudden, Danielson and Collins told us yesterday that some of these players on special teams were lollygagging down the field when the New Mexico ran back that kickoff last week. So there's still some, as Spencer puts it, cultural issues with this football team. The penalties drive everybody crazy. The ceiling that Maddox Madsen has. Some of the other stuff we're seeing on the back end of the defense with the pass catcher, with the pass defense and the tackling. This is a football team that has a lot of work ahead. And that's kind of why I worry about that one possible loss, whether it's San Diego State, whether it's Utah State. Hell, it could be tomorrow. I mean, nobody's going to be shocked if UNLV wins this game tomorrow. I think Boise State will win, and I think it's a 12-point game for a reason. But nobody's going to be shocked because this football team, Boise State, hasn't given us any kind of reason to think that everything's going to be comfortable and easy this year. It's not. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be compelling. I think it's going to be a fun season to watch because it's going to come with a lot of ups and downs. It's going to come with a lot of bumps and bruises, and that's the way a football season should be.
All right, a couple more voicemails to get to. And then, by the way, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to have Sean Garris, the volleyball coach, jump on. They had a big win last night. They're playing first place. Utah State tomorrow. They're in third place in the standings in the Mountain West Conference for volleyball. Soccer had a big win last night. So a lot of the non-football basketball sports are really doing well. Golf, men's and women's golf had a big day, I believe, Mike, on Thursday. So we're going to chat with Coach Garris at 10 o'clock here in about 15 minutes. But Signature Roofing giving away a $500 gift card to Shields. What do you got for us, Colin? Colin, you're next.
Hi, this is Colin Belknap. Really not interested in your contest, not trying to win anything. The thing with Boise State football this year is it's just not clean. It's just not smooth. Everything is difficult. You get a good run, then you get a false start penalty. You get to third down, and then you commit a 15-yard penalty to give the other team a first down. This team just doesn't do anything easily. Everything is a struggle. It's not the lack of trick plays. It's not the lack of offensive creativity. It's the lack of doing things cleanly, of doing things intelligently, doing things with discipline. That's what's lacking with this team. That's why they struggle. If they get that cleaned up against UNLV, they'll blow them out. If they don't get it cleaned up, it's going to be a nail biter. And that's what's keeping this team from being a great team.
Let's just give Colin our job there, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Colin's not wrong. I mean, he's 100% not wrong. But at the same time, does that go back to do you expect every football team, every game, every player to be clean? I think what Boise State is experiencing this year is reality, and it's not always going to be clean football. And yeah, the penalties and everything, that's frustrating. And there's actionable ways to fix that, and it needs to be fixed. We need to see positive signs that this, Spencer Danielson always brags about being a developmental program. Well, I need to see that. And we see it in the big picture as this team and this roster get bigger, better, stronger. But I'm not sure we're seeing it week to week this year, and that's where fans get frustrated. And I get that. I totally get that. A clean game tomorrow would go a long way, but it's not always going to be clean. And I think that's one of the beauties of this sport. That's one of the angst of this sport. Your football team, Kansas, if they play a clean game, you're shocked. My football team, Utah, if they play a clean game, I'm shocked. Boise State fans, if they don't play a clean game, they're shocked. So that's the perspective there in terms of what Boise State fans are feeling. So I feel for that fan. He's not wrong. And Boise State has to get better at the optics game. They're still favored to win every game. They're still favored to win the Mountain West. They're still scoring 34 points a game. They're doing all the right things. They're just not doing it to the standards that Boise State fans expect, and that's the standard around here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they've proven to this point to be a good team, not a great team, because of some of those mistakes and things like that. And if they can get it cleaned up, maybe that does change things. Let's go Dustin Martinez. What do you got, Dustin?
Hey, guys, what's up? I think Boise State is clearly the better overall team. I think the worry for me in this game with UNLV is if Boise State falls into a shootout, that seems more comfortable footing for UNLV than Boise State does. And so I think that if we can run the ball, if we can be, controlling the clock, taking care of business and secure, we'll be good. But I think if you give UNLV the opportunity to do a shootout, that's really where we could lose that puncher's chance.
Appreciate Dustin with the voicemail there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I do expect a shootout. I mean, Boise State's defense isn't that good. They're giving up, 25, 26 points a game. Calandria is going to be a beast for UNLV. He's done a magical job, and Dan Mullen's done a magical job. He's the quarterback whisperer. And he's taken a kid that came out of Virginia who was average and turned him into a pretty damn good Mountain West quarterback who's going to beat you up. Byron Brown, South Florida. Did that guy give you nightmares? Well, Calandria is going to give you nightmares tomorrow. I think this game is going to be a shootout. And if Boise State wins it, I mean, let's see what the optics are. Let's see how clean it is. But I'm not afraid of a shootout. I think Boise State can win in a shootout, but they have to be clean to win in a shootout.
And I would say both offenses are good, and I would say of late Boise State's defense has been a little better. And so I would say that would be where, but yeah, UNLV doesn't have a great defense. They just won 51-48 or whatever it was against Air Force.
Yes.
So I would say offenses, yes, but I would say right now, Mike, I'd say Boise State, at least the last couple of weeks, has proven to have a little better defense.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, UNLV's defense really isn't good. I mean, they gave up 31 points to Idaho State. They gave up 21 points to Sam Houston, who hasn't even won a game. You pointed out the 48 points to Air Force last week. They gave up 38 points to Miami of Ohio. UNLV's defense is not good. It's worse than Boise State's statistically across the board. So, yeah, don't be afraid of a shootout. I think that's exactly what we're going to get tomorrow. I think both these teams are probably going to get 30-plus points, and you're going to have to hang on to the bitter end. That's why I think the fans will be there till the end, because it's going to 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be the hottest part of the day. The sun's going to be out, and this sucker is going to be competitive and very entertaining.
All right, let's go to Ellis. What do you got, Ellis?
Okay, BJ. Don't know if you want to get into this, but been hearing rumors that New Mexico may have known Boise State's signals for the first half, and they had to change them up on the second half.
All right, it's really hard to hear him. Ellis, appreciate you. I don't know about you, Mike. I had trouble hearing him, but he was talking about the New Mexico game, which was kind of he put this in Monday. It's my fault. They haven't played it since then. But New Mexico in the first half had all the answers for Boise State and didn't in the second half. There was some thought maybe they were stealing their signals or something changed. Don't know anything about that. I know Nathan Carroll said he talked to some former players where it looked like they were on top of a lot of what they were doing, and maybe Boise State changed some things up in the second half. We'll try to look into that a little more, but honestly, we're kind of moving on to UNLV at this point. But Ellis, appreciate the call, and you will be entered in the raffle. All right, 2 left real quick here, Mike. Let's go to Melinda Draper. Melinda, always a big BNN supporter. What do you got for us, Melinda?
Hi, BJ. Melinda here. First, I'd like to thank you for all you do. I love BNN. All great stuff. The player interviews are my favorite. Also, a big thank you to all your sponsors. I do my best to support as many of them as I possibly can. I, too, am very disappointed in our fans. Come on, once you're in the stadium, just stay. Come prepared, be proud, and be loud. Also, a while back, I saw a tweet showing a view of our stadium and parking lot during one of our games. I was bummed to see that there were so many empty parking spots. Next time you talk to JD, can you ask him about that and what they might be doing to solve that problem? Do we need different price points to get all the parking spots sold? Should they maybe raffle off the spots for the remainder of the season? At the very minimum, donate some spots to BNN so you can do a show from the parking lot, or give away as prizes to BNN subscribers. What do you think?
Oh, I love that idea. Thanks, Melinda. Love that idea. Yeah, we'll take whatever handouts they want to give us. Parking spots, whatever. But appreciate it, Melinda. And yeah, she's a big supporter of BNN. Appreciate her. And parking spots, Mike. I don't know how often you're in the parking lot before the game. Tailgating. I know some of the different time of day for games, things like that. But I did notice for the New Mexico game, I heard it wasn't a full parking lot. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been that way forever. And that's just kind of an old story, especially of the west lot that's between the stadium and Extra Mile Arena. That sucker's always, I don't want to say empty, but I show up about 90 minutes to 2 hours before the game, and then I go back out and wander the parking lots and the tailgates a little bit, and it's still kind of empty. So, yeah, I mean, they need to fix that a little bit, but frankly, that's the least of my concerns right now.
Yeah, and I know the west lot, the one between Extra Mile Arena and that's more of the higher priced donors and things, and that's
Correct.
Not necessarily a tailgating lot. Maybe you have some older folks, things like that in that lot. The east side and the other areas are where the tailgating spots are. And I know with the North End Zone project, and they're not having that entrance open over there, that's taken out some spots too, so that's changed things a little bit on that side. It's just kind of and that's impacted where they used to have kind of the extra area for the beer garden and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just kind of a weird year that they're just trying to get through, I think, Mike.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would agree. It is a little bit of a weird year, and they're trying to clean some stuff up. And wait till Jeremiah dives into Extra Mile Arena and all the things that he's going to fix there. That's going to be the crazy one. And in terms of parking and fans. And now that he's got control of Extra Mile Arena, holy cow, things are about to happen, and hopefully for the good. But there's going to be a lot of fan angst with a lot of change over the next couple of years. And yeah, with the North End Zone next year, and what is it? Memphis is the home opener next year, and they'll unveil that North End Zone. It'll be really, really exciting. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and parking is a mess. Parking's always been a mess, and game day logistics are always been a little bit wonky, but they're working on it. I heard I saw Cody's tweet last night. They got rid of that stupid train and brought the horse back. So at least that's a good start.
Yes, no doubt. Mason Hutton, one of the best long snappers in America, Mike Prater. His dad, Andrew Hutton, chimes in the chat this morning, wants to know, is that Mike Prater rocking a Gators hoodie this morning?
It is a Gators hoodie, so it's old school, and this is about 20 years old, going back to the Tim Tebow days. So I thought I could pull one off without getting you the logo.
Is that your ode to Dan Mullen or something? Come on.
No, it's my ode to Tim Tebow. So my Dan Mullen days go back to Utah when he was in charge of Alex Smith winning Fiesta Bowls against Pittsburgh back in the day. So I'm always been a big Dan Mullen fan, and even though he's got a little weird, but this is more of a Tim Tebow thing.
All right, Mike, like I said, I'm going to keep the show going. I got so a little bit of Olympic sports talk. Sean Garris, the volleyball coach, is going to join us for a couple minutes, but you got a meeting you got to get to. Big show. I'm going to join you guys at 4:15. You said you'll be out at the Ridley's in Star. Hopefully, folks will head out to Star and join you guys. But any final thoughts? Big weekend ahead here for Boise State.
I'm so excited for this basketball game tonight. Broncos, Vandals. I will never, ever, ever take that lightly. I don't care what it is. And anytime you get to see those guys on the court doing the thing, and I enjoy the fan bases and talking to both fan bases more than I do the actual game. So it'll just be cool to be in the same building where you see the different colors. And I love those colors, and it'll be a flashback of nostalgia. I'm one of those weirdos that are, the state of Idaho weirdos that are kind of in the middle. I love both Broncos. I love both Vandals. And I'm looking for just a lot of fun from a lot of fans tonight. And then obviously the game tomorrow, the fans will be a storyline, and hopefully this game's competitive. I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see a nail biter. I want to see a compelling, fantastic Saturday, 1:30, sunshine, 60-degree football game with fans in the stands from start to finish. And I want it to create a third of the excitement that we saw the last time UNLV jumped on this field. And we know what that was like. You're never going to replicate what we saw last year, but I think we can have fun tomorrow afternoon. So Broncos, Vandals, Rebels, the next 36 hours, guys, it's going to be fantastic. Enjoy your weekend.
Well, I will be clipping that clip off and using it for the time of eternity. Quote, Mike Prater saying, quote, I am so excited for this basketball game. That will be used from here on out, maybe on every game day. But Mike, appreciate you. Sorry to make you late for your meeting here. Appreciate you doing a few extra minutes for us. And I will join you at 4:15. Looking forward to that. And you guys, again, will be out in Star 3 to 6. Hopefully, folks will go check you guys out there at the Ridley's Family Markets in Star from 3 to 6 today. Appreciate it, Mike.
Thanks, bud.
All right, there he is, Mike Prater. Appreciate him, and he went a little long today because we had some of the voicemails, so I really appreciate Mike for staying on and doing that today. But we do have one more voicemail that I'm going to play. This is from Cody, but Mike had to get to their meeting, so he had to run. But we'll keep this thing going. Keep your comments coming, your questions. What do we got from Cody?
Hey, BJ. Just wondering if you knew if Chris Marshall had another year of ability, and also excited to get to see the Broncos Saturday against UNLV. Not quite sure what to think UNLV with their close games, close calls. So excited to see Broncos go out and hopefully get the W. Go Broncos.
All right, I had a really hard time hearing Cody there. I'm not sure if he didn't have the mic next to his phone or what. So I couldn't really hear much of that, to be honest with you. If anybody has an answer to whatever he was saying, that was really tough to hear. So maybe make sure there's no background noise when you guys are leaving voicemails, and we would be happy to hear it. But I couldn't really understand most of that, so I apologize. I don't have the best hearing to begin with, and it was kind of muffled. So I think there was something about Chris Marshall in there, and then I'm not sure what was asked or what. But appreciate you for attempting it. Just maybe next time try to make it a little more clear in leaving your voicemail. But 8 voicemails today. Really appreciative of that. And thank you all, guys. You will all be entered in the Shields raffle. We want the post-game ones. We're going to try to get the post-game ones on right away. But get the post-game ones in. Really excited for that. And we want post-game voicemails tomorrow. So in the fourth quarter, or right when the game ends, start giving us your post-game thoughts, and those will be counted for the contest as well for the $500 gift card to Shields. Your last chance to enter the $500 gift card for Shields is the post-game raffle and or the post-game show. You can leave that, and we'll get those included on the Monday morning raffle. All right, so we're going to keep the show going. As I said, I'll take your football comments, basketball thoughts. We can maybe hear a little more from Leon Rice. We are going to have Sean Garris, the volleyball coach, jump on for a couple minutes. They're playing first place Utah State tomorrow. But I want to tell you about Matt Bauscher. Bauscher Real Estate. Appreciate him for jumping on the show yesterday. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. And now you heard he's not just the state, but the whole Northwest. Their group's the number one ranked realtor in the Northwest. Not surprised. Bought and sold our home using Matt. You guys will love it if you make the switch to Matt for your next home purchase or sale. And we appreciate Matt and his support of Bronco Nation News. You heard Johnny and Prater. They will be at the Ridley's Family Markets in Star. Go on out to Star today from 3 to 6. Ridley's Family Markets in Star. Hang out with them from 3 to 6 today. And they have a cool little tailgate party and all kinds of giveaways and things. We'll see you at the Ridley's Family Market in Star from 3 to 6 p.m. today. And transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com is where you can go. It's a local company helping out folks all over the world get into the trucking industry. Transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com, whether it's all the paperwork and everything else you need. Again, we appreciate transportation compliance service. And as I mentioned, Signature Roofing, that $500 Shields card, it's courtesy of Signature Roofing. So if you want to win the raffle to win a $500 gift card to Shields, you just got to leave us a voicemail on that post-game show, and we'll pick that winner on Monday. It's brought to you by Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, all your roofing needs, make sure you hit up our roofing sponsor, and that is Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Got a lot of your comments and things coming on here. Appreciate all you guys that have stayed with us on today's show. Great viewership today. We appreciate that. I think they all knew that Sean Garris was coming on and didn't want to miss this. So we will go right to our guest line and welcome in the head volleyball coach, Sean Garris. Sean, short notice, but you had the big win last night and you got the match tomorrow. So I checked with Chris and said we could make it happen. So appreciate you jumping on this morning, and congratulations on the win. You're muted, I think, there, Sean. There we go. Oh, there we go. Nope. There it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, great. Great to hear from you this morning. Yeah, I'm glad we had the chance to talk this morning after the big win last night.
You guys got up 2-0 last night, right? And then made it a little interesting. Tell us about last night. San Jose State, by the way.
Yeah, we played really well the first couple of sets. We did what we had set out to do, which was get off to a fast start. I think we've lost the first set in 5 of our 6 Mountain West matches leading into that. So good to get out fast, jumped on them early. Then the third set was back and forth. They closed us out in a close 25-23. And then my team looked a little bit shocked, like we're not done right now. And then San Jose got hot. So it was on. The fourth set, San Jose played well, and we really had to battle and regroup to take the 5th set, but I'm proud that they did. It's really good when you can get a win when you don't have your best stuff.
13-5 overall, I believe 5-2 in Mountain West play. You guys are sitting in 3rd place right now. For folks that are focused too much on football and basketball starting and everything else, what give the 500 and whatever plus watching right now just an insight to your season and how things are going big picture wise.
Yeah, well, proud to be part of all the teams that are winning at a high level right now at Boise State. The fall sports are off to a great start. That's Jim's soccer team and Pat's cross country team, and certainly football's doing some great things. Excited to get basketball rolling in the next couple of weeks. So we just want to be a part of that winning success that we have here. The vibe's great around the athletics department, and within the locker room and on the court for the volleyball team, I'm really proud with what our results are. We've won our fair share of the close matches that we've played. We've taken care of the teams we're supposed to beat. So really happy with where we're at. We had some good battles in the non-conference, specifically like we had Arizona here for a 3:30 afternoon start before football played their home opener. We lost to them in 5, and that's a top 25 level team. So I think we proved to ourselves early we could compete with anybody. We're battle tested, and now it's showing with our results in the Mountain West.
And obviously a big one tomorrow. First place, 7-0, Utah State coming in. And my understanding is everyone, you guys have the timing perfectly set up right after the football game. If anybody wants to come on over and show their football ticket, they can get in to watch the volleyball match for free.
Yeah, that's a big challenge for us when we have the head-to-head with football. So what we tried to do is find a sweet spot where we could play after the football game. So once the Spencer Danielson and the boys take care of business on the blue, you'll be able to roll right over to Bronco Gym and catch up with the volleyball program. And we're playing Utah State, like you mentioned. They're 7-0, definitely the top team right now in the Mountain West Conference. We played them 2 weeks ago down at their place, and we lost in a close 5-set match. So I think it's a pretty good matchup, and hopefully we can get on the right side of it on Saturday.
Well, you mentioned the fall sports. We saw soccer with a huge comeback win last night. I know golf, men's and women's golf, has had a big day or two, and I know softball's in their fall season, but obviously they've done some things with Coach Schultz. I know football and basketball obviously gets most of the attention media wise. It's my fault. Everybody else in the media, but just it does seem like whether it's Jeremiah, and I don't know who deserves the credit. I assume it's Jeremiah and on down, but it's a really healthy, situation right now for all of the sports at Boise State.
Yeah, you said healthy. I think the vibe is just great in the athletics department. I have great communication with all the other coaches. We know what each other are going through. We can talk through, things that are happening, maybe get a little words of wisdom from people. I like to pop in on Gordy once in a while. He's in a different phase where they're just getting started and we're mid-season. So I pop in on him once in a while. I love talking to the golf coaches. I'm a golf person. My son's a golfer. So I love hearing what's happening with them. That was really special that they both were able to get a win on the same day. And they won convincingly, and they won on the individual side. So just keep the good things rolling. And that our athletes know each other and feed off of that as well. Our athletes are socializing with each other. We're supporting each other at other home games. So the whole vibe right now is just really good in the athletic department.
That's just an excuse for you to go use the putting green, Coach. We know it.
I do take a few swings once in a while. I need to, get a little attention out.
Tell us about NIL and volleyball. And I know, Lithia Ford's one of my sponsors. I know they have a deal with, one of your student athletes. And just for folks out there, maybe everyone talks about the budget and Bronco Pro and all this on some of the bigger sports. But how competitive is it, and what should folks know about, and what businesses, I guess, have stepped up to help you guys?
Yeah, it's here in all sports. It's not at the same level, and maybe take off a decimal point for from the volleyball deals compared to what football or basketball are dealing with, but it matters a lot. It matters to our athletes, and we get great support in our community. You mentioned Lithia Ford. They have a deal with one of our players, and we love their support for sure. But we have a lot of companies that have gotten on board and are investing in our athletes and finding the reciprocal benefits of that. When you're dealing like kind of a trade out thing, and our players are helping promote other businesses, it's a win-win for everybody. This community has done a great job supporting us, and it matters a lot in volleyball. It matters in recruiting, and it matters in retention of your athletes. So yeah, it's a big thing for us for sure.
Now, we recently found out this week that the athletic department took over control of Extra Mile Arena. I know that's been a talk for several years in terms of possibly getting a volleyball match in Extra Mile Arena. We saw, was it Nebraska do one at the football stadium or whatever it was? I mean, there's some crazy things out there, but in terms of what is your hope, and I guess how realistic is it now that we can get a volleyball match, and who's the type of team that you'd have to play, you think, to be able to get a good crowd in there?
So it's absolutely on my agenda. I think that is the next thing. If Jeremiah wants to talk about, no guardrails, how can we blow this thing up? How can we make it big? It's get some matches in Extra Mile Arena. And I don't know that we want to move in there yet, as it's the home of Bronco volleyball, because we've got a good thing going in Bronco Gym, but we want to blow the walls out of Bronco Gym sometimes and double the attendance. And that's what the arena can really help with. So we're looking at possibly getting a custom floor in there that'll really pop and look like Bronco volleyball belongs in there. Opponent-wise, love to get somebody like Idaho here and blow them out in front of a big crowd. But it'd also be nice to get a big name like an Oregon or a BYU, and maybe do it over a weekend and get all of them here and set record attendance numbers for women's volleyball, but maybe for women's sports at Boise State. I think we can do that in the arena.
Yeah, it's kind of there's like a happy medium, right? You want it to be as loud as possible, and you want it to be packed and feel like it's not another person can get in at Bronco Gym. And if you get in there in the arena, it could feel a lot more empty, or maybe the atmosphere wouldn't be as good unless you get a big crowd.
Yeah, so BJ, that's exactly what that's the follow-up to. Yes, I'd like to play in the arenas. I kind of want to play in a custom setup. Maybe we could keep the energy by getting the fans right on top of the court if we spin it. Maybe playing half the arena and have fans on three sides right on top of the action. So we're looking at all those options. But I know that this community supports volleyball, and if we pick the right days to play, we can do really well in there. I don't want to butt up against high school. That's something that is a challenge for us. High school matches are every Thursday night for everybody in the Valley. So that's really hard for most of our season to lose the younger generation in our gym. But if we did something over the weekend, and we did something maybe in conjunction with a football game like we're doing this weekend, we're playing afterwards, and you could really flow a couple thousand people into the arena, that would be great. Or do it when football's out of town and we don't have the conflict around their bye weekend. So there's a few more challenges to work with scheduling. I also think the conference, as we move to the Pac-12 has been historically fantastic in volleyball. We want to keep that going, and maybe we can work with our conference to schedule at the right times for some big opponents.
Sean Garris, a longtime volleyball coach at Boise State, doing great things. Coach, final question for you. I mean, I don't know, free tickets should be enough, but I mean, what other reasons when folks are, maybe it's too early for dinner, or the reservation's not till 7:30 or something, or you want to let the traffic die down from the football game? There's plenty of reasons, and just to see a heck of a matchup with two really good teams. But what would be your I don't even know if I have to say sales pitch since it's free, but why should the folks watching this, what are they going to see tomorrow? First place against third place in the conference, huge matchup. It's Utah State. Why should folks come on over to Bronco Gym tomorrow?
I'd say a couple things that are unique about our sport and our atmosphere is the energy in the gym is amazing. We may only get 1,200 people in the gym, but they are right on top of the action, and you're very close to the action, so you're going to kind of feel it. And then access. We stay on the court, win or lose afterwards. It's a real good chance for kids to interact with their favorite players, get autographs. We never do autograph night. Like any night is time to go walk up to your favorite player and talk to them afterwards. And that's something that's unique about our sport, that you can have access to our athletes commonly. So I think that's something that you feel that's different, and the energy is special.
Well, appreciate it, Coach. A couple years ago, I brought the family, and you hooked my kids up with a volleyball here, and they still have the volleyball. So I don't have a lot of Bronco stuff in my house, but my kids still play with the volleyball and appreciate it. And we're going to try to find a time to make it work to get the family back out there, because you're right. Like it's super exciting, and it's quick paced, and maybe people that haven't given volleyball a chance, it's especially at the college level. It's a lot of fun to go out and it's a lot of energy and fast-paced action. And like I said, even my kids that would never think of playing volleyball are sitting there, looking every hit. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, appreciate the support. Love that you have the ball still in-house there. That's great. And you're right, the energy is really good, and we welcome all newcomers. If you haven't seen the game before, maybe we can open your eyes to a new fan experience.
5:30 tomorrow, right after the football game. So if you're going to the football game, just head over. 5:30, Bronco Gym, first place, Utah State in town. Big match for the volleyball program, and Coach Garris on short notice, coming off the big win against San Jose last night. Appreciate your time, Coach, and hopefully see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you, BJ. Go Broncos.
Thank you, Coach. Sean Garris, nice enough to join us on short notice after Boise State volleyball gets the win against San Jose State last night, and they'll play Utah State tomorrow. So if you are hanging around, maybe stick around for a couple extra minutes and check that out while the traffic dies down on Saturday. But it is a lot of fun, and it's cool to go over there. And he's right. I mean, a lot of these secondary sports, and secondary is not the right word. They call them Olympic sports, but maybe the ones that don't get the attention as the football or the revenue, as a basketball and those sports. It's been a great run right now for a lot of these sports at Boise State. So whether it's soccer winning last night, they scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to come back and beat San Diego State 2-1, and they're in first place, and they're hosting the Mountain West Championships this year. Whether it's men's and women's golf, both having a great day. Volleyball, so it's been a fun run here, and they're a very successful run for some of the other sports. That Jeremiah Dickey continues to upgrade with lights and new pitch in the soccer stadium, and the things they're doing to softball. And as you heard, they got some big plans for volleyball now getting into Extra Mile Arena. So it's not just football and basketball. It's all sports having success at Boise State. And we appreciate Coach Garris for coming on and appreciate most of you that continue to stick on and give them the support they deserve as well during this interview. So appreciate you guys. Go subscribe to BroncoNationNews.com. We will be live tonight, 6 o'clock. That's right, the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. We're going to have full pregame, postgame show. Lithia Florida Boise pregame, postgame show, 6 o'clock tonight for the Boise State basketball exhibition against the University of Idaho. So join us tonight, 6 o'clock. We'll get you set. We'll have Abe Jackson make his debut, and just join us, help us out if you can, and watch the show tonight, 6 o'clock for the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show, and then we'll have the Jacksons postgame show. We'll show you some highlights after the game and wrap it up as well. So if you're coming to the game tonight, you can watch us on your way down or watch us on the way home. If you're not coming to the game, I think it is being streamed on KTVB Plus or KTVB2. Check that out. And you can watch us on YouTube at 6 o'clock tonight with the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. And then, as I said, tomorrow we'll be live 11 a.m. from the James Kitchen and Bar with the pregame show for the football game. So big weekend coming up for Boise State sports. Go subscribe, BroncoNationNews.com. You can read Mike Prater. Nathan Carroll's game preview just got posted. We got all kinds of basketball, football content, recruiting coverage, a lot of stuff. It's a busy time of year, and it's the perfect time. $7 a month is all it costs right now to jump on to BroncoNationNews.com. $7 a month. Pay one time for the year, get it over with, and then when it renews, you get at the full price. You get your Paramount Plus subscription included as well. So go subscribe. Help us get that initial goal. I think we need 24 subscribers to help us reach our first goal with 247 Sports. And so appreciate all you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day. Go read, go subscribe. We'll go chat in the message boards, and we'll see you tonight, 6 o'clock, Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. Idaho, Boise State. Time to get it on the hardwood, and we'll be covering it every step of the way tonight. We'll see you in a couple hours, folks.